In this video, we will be discussing the main differences between the three major investment funds that are ETFs, mutual funds, and index funds. We will also discuss why one or more of these investment funds might be beneficial in helping you grow your money more than other investment funds. And if you stick around until the very end, as a bonus clip, I will spill the beans on what specific investment funds I am investing my money in. Let's go. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Shuril with Modest Millennial, where we talk about all things money that they don't teach you in school. So if you are new here, please consider subscribing and gently tapping the like button if you like the idea of saving money, investing money, and growing your money. So if you are like me, you're probably looking at the stock market right now and going, what is this TSLA? How am I supposed to know what I am investing in, right? Nobody even talked about these abbreviations in school or in my family. Well, here goes all my money, but trust me, a little bit of research goes a long way. And kudos to you for watching this video until the very end, as research is exactly what this video is in order to understand what some of these financial monsters are, so that you can invest your money wisely and keep growing it for the rest of your life. Before we talk about how ETFs, mutual funds, and index funds are different, let's first talk about what they exactly are so that it will be a bit easier to compare them and understand what the differences are later on in the video. So ETFs, mutual funds, and index funds are basically a basket of stocks or other financial instruments such as bonds or short-term debt. But let's not make it that complicated. Let's just consider that these funds are basically a basket of several different investment funds compiled together for your investment convenience. Some of these funds track the stock price of 500 different companies on the stock market, and the benefit of investing in either of these funds is that at the click of one button, you can invest your money in multiple different companies, different sectors, and different investment classes all at once. For example, a S&P 500 index tracking ETF will be a basket of all 500 companies within the S&P 500 index, so that when you invest $100 in that fund, that $100 will be distributed over 500 different companies without you putting any extra effort into making that investment. Without these investment funds, investing would be completely miserable. Just imagine buying each one of the stock from the S&P 500 index individually and then keeping a track of pricing for all the stocks of each company one by one until you get old and die one day. Even worse, imagine the amount of fees and trading commissions you would have to pay to invest your money in each of these companies individually. So I'm sure it makes sense by now what these investment funds are and why they are so important. Let's jump into the differences between these investment funds at this point and try to figure out which one of these are the best for your investment portfolio. The biggest difference between these funds, first of all, comes from how they are managed. Mutual funds are typically managed and controlled by professional fund managers. These fund managers have the authority to select what stock is and isn't a part of that specific mutual fund. If you currently have a workplace 401k that is automatically invested with each paycheck, chances are that you have money invested in some of these mutual funds that professional fund managers from companies such as Fidelity, BlackRock, and Vanguard are controlling. Of course then, since these fund managers are constantly trying to get your investments a higher return than what the market provides for each month, they are constantly buying and selling stocks from the mutual funds they manage based on their investment expertise and their analysis of stock that they think will provide for higher returns. Conversely, ETFs are passively managed funds that usually track a pre-selected index such as the S&P 500 index or the Nasdaq Composite index. Also, once these are set up, the ETFs are commonly traded between people like you and I, and not between investors and fund managers like the mutual funds are. So if I were to sell my ETF for a profit at a particular price, more than likely another investor like you that finds the price lucrative will buy it from me. Whereas I buy my mutual funds from a fund manager and I sell my mutual funds back to the fund manager, who can then decide to sell that mutual fund to another investor or not. Since ETFs are set and forget type of investment funds, they are passive, and once they are set up, there is really no buying or selling of stocks within the fund by itself. But there are exceptions. For example, when Tesla stock was added to the S&P 500 index in December of 2020, stocks of another company, AIV, that was booted out of the index were sold by ETFs, and Tesla stocks were bought in order to maintain tracking the price of the index as a whole. But other than special exceptions like these, there really are not many changes that often to the stocks within an ETF, which leads us into the third category, that is index funds. The way I look at index funds is they are a combination of mutual funds and ETFs. Once again, just like mutual funds, index funds are also controlled by fund managers. But like ETFs, index funds are passively managed, meaning just like our Tesla example from before, unless there are major changes within the index itself, the stocks and index funds remain the same for the most part. Just like ETFs, index funds track major indices such as S&P 500 and the Nasdaq Composite Index, and their returns match pretty closely to the returns from the indices themselves. So then, how does it matter what fund you are investing your money in, and what difference does that make in your investment portfolio for the long run? Keep watching to learn and understand better, and if you have made it this far in the video, please consider hitting the thumbs up button to support the channel. The next major difference between the three investment funds is their expense ratio, meaning how much investors pay each year to own these funds. But I thought the fund is supposed to pay me. Normally, the expense ratio is a type of fees associated with owning the fund and is charged to investors as a percentage of total amount you have invested in the fund. This expense ratio is exactly what makes or breaks your investment portfolio. Expense ratio is the difference between being good with your investments and being great with your investments. So why do you have to pay fees after all to own these funds? Remember when we discussed earlier that some of these funds are actively managed? Every time a stock within a fund is bought or sold or replaced with something else, there is a fee associated with it. This fee is consolidated to form the expense ratio which investors like you and I pay once throughout the year to maintain ownership in these funds. Typically, mutual funds tend to be the most expensive to own, and rightfully so. Stocks are constantly being bought and sold by the fund managers within the mutual funds, and that's exactly what increases the cost of owning mutual funds. For ETFs, since they are passively managed, ETFs are relatively less expensive compared to mutual funds. A study in 2018 showed that investors paid roughly 0.03%, meaning 30 cents for every $1,000 they had invested in ETFs. Whereas for mutual funds, the same fees came out to about 0.67%, meaning $6.07 for every $1,000 invested in these mutual funds on an average. That is roughly 22 times the fees paid for investing in ETFs for roughly the same amount of returns each year. And third, my favorite category is the index funds, which is sometimes even cheaper than owning ETFs. The S&P 500 tracking index fund that I invest my money in at the moment has an expense ratio of 0.015%, which means that I pay 15 cents in fees for every $1,000 I have invested in this fund. So some of the mutual funds can be roughly 45 times more expensive for me to invest in for roughly the same amount of return as the S&P tracking index fund. Of course, this fees, the expense ratio, comes out of your bottom line, meaning if you have $1,000 invested in each of these investment funds, and each of the three types of investment funds provided for a 7% return on your $1,000 for the year, which comes out to about $70, you will roughly pay 15 cents in fees on the index funds and keep $69.85 in profit. Or you will pay 30 cents in fees on ETFs and keep $69.70 in profit. Or you will pay $6.07 in fees on mutual funds and keep $63.30 in profit. I guess I can leave it up to you at this point to decide what investment option is best for you, right? And finally, the third difference I want to highlight in today's video is the way these funds are traded in the market. ETFs, unlike mutual funds and index funds, are traded throughout the trading day, which typically lasts from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. You can buy or sell an ETF just like you would buy or sell a stock on a brokerage of your choice, like Robinhood. Oh, and my Robinhood sign up link is in the description below. If you sign up using my link, you will get at least one free stock on the Robinhood platform, so go check that out. Mutual funds and index funds, on the other hand, trade at market close, which is the end of each trading day. So the downside to this is that if you are looking to trade funds in the short term to make a quick profit, mutual funds and index funds are not for you. To invest in these, you have to be a little bit price averse. Meaning, if you buy these funds for a couple percentage points up or down from what you were intending to, it shouldn't make that much of a difference to your investment portfolio. A lot of times this becomes an issue when the market swings violently, as the market may be down 5% at noon, but if it recovers by the time the trading day ends, you, my friend, lost that chance of buying the fund for 5% discount. ETFs, on the other hand, can be bought or sold throughout the day. So if a buying opportunity is presenting itself, you may as well take it. And finally, it comes down to what I invest in these days. My 401k invests automatically in an index fund called VFIAX that tracks the S&P 500 index fund. The expense ratio on VFIAX is 0.03%. My wife and I share a joint Fidelity brokerage account, and we invest in FXAIX, which is another S&P 500 tracking index fund that has an expense ratio of 0.015%, which is extremely cheap, the cheapest investment option we know of. And finally, my wife and I also have a JP Morgan Chase brokerage account that we use to invest in ETFs such as VOO when the market is trading violently, and we know that by the time the market closes, the opportunity to buy ETFs at a discounted price will have lost. So when we have to invest right away, then and only then we use a Chase account to invest in VOO. Goes without saying that you should do your own research before buying or not buying any of these funds, or even selling the funds that you already own, as this video was meant for pure entertainment and was not financial advice in any form. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. And as always, please don't forget to like this video below and subscribe to my channel for more personal finance content. Also, if you're tired of just watching me in this small frame, please follow me on Instagram, where I share spicy insights of my personal life and how I save money pretty much on a daily basis. Alright everyone, thanks so much for tuning into my channel.